All right, Molly, thanks so much. Arthel?
Eric and Molly, thank you. For more reaction on this, we go to Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs, who is a member of the House Judiciary Committee and the House Freedom Caucus. Congressman, thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon.
Thanks, Arthel.
And if you allow me, let us work backwards on this. We're going to get to the meat of the Democrats' memo in the end. But if I could start here, listen, the Justice Department and the FBI is saying hold off on releasing the Democrats' memo to give lawmakers time to comb through, recheck for items that might be a threat to national security. But as you all know, the FBI emphatically advised against releasing the Republican memo for fear of threats to national security and grave concerns about its accuracy. So here's the question, Congressman. Why is the warning from the Justice Department and FBI heeded in the case of the Democrats' memo, but ignored for the Republican memo?
Well, that's a great question and a fair question, but I will tell you that the way I view it is you've got the Republicans is a 4-page memo, and you've probably seen it. I've read both memos.
You got a 3-page versus a 10-page. The Democrats' 10-page memo.
Exactly, and there's nothing, as we've gone back through it, nobody's now saying, well, there's anything in the Republican memo that should have remained classified. Now, if I was doing this, and I can't speak to the substance of the Democrat memo, but if I wanted to politically embarrass somebody and say that we've been maltreated or treated differently, yeah, hypothetically what I might do is maybe actually quote from classified documents, then what are the agencies, what is the president, what is his counsel, what are they left with? There has to be redactions, and then you get to embarrass them again when there's redactions if you release it redacted. So this is a double whammy. It's a twofer for the Democrats and Mr. Schiff to really create a memo that has got it's a nothing burger otherwise, but it's got some problems to it. And then they get to embarrass them and say, now they're mistreating us. So it's a twofer on their side, but the reality is I want that Democrat memo released.
Well, in the meantime,
Okay,
and listen, yeah. You just called the Democrat memo a nothing burger. The GOP memo was called a nothing burger. So if you're asking the American public to see through the political shade cast by the Democrats, Congressman Biggs, how do you convince them that the Republicans aren't doing the same thing, making decisions that seem to benefit party and not necessarily the American people?
Well, I think you get the Democrats' memo out as quickly as possible. I think where redactions have to be made, you ask them to make the redactions. It's going to get done in the Intelligence Committee, I hope. I would hope that the chairman of the Intelligence Committee would work with Democrats, and if they don't want to work to redact it, then maybe he needs to go through and take out whatever is confidential and then release the rest of it.
Who needs to go through there and take it out?
I'm talking about the Intelligence Committee chairman, maybe with the help of the FBI, and whatever other intelligence agencies having problems. Take out that information and throw it out there. I want it out there. I think my colleagues do. I read them side by side, and I'm just telling you, it would be great to have both of them out there so the public could see them side by side.
Okay, so it seems like you've got something behind the eyes there regarding this very topic, Congressman. So let's get to the meat of that Democratic memo without, of course, jeopardizing national security. Can you tell us what elements and information in the Democrats' memo that you find so dangerous and or misleading?
I don't. I'm not saying they're dangerous or misleading. In fact, I think they're actually, you'll find them revelatory and confirmatory of the Nunes memo. So that's why I want it out there. But when you read it as someone with clearance, you can see that maybe some of this stuff does need to be removed based on what the FBI is saying.
But why are we, the Republicans seem to be putting a lot of stock, into what the FBI is saying when the president says, don't listen to the FBI, don't listen to any of those intel committees?
Yeah. Well, let me get back to my hypothetical. If I was trying to throw shade on somebody, one thing I might do is actually put them in a predicament where they can't release the document because of what I've included in the document. And then I'm going to say it's from the same document. Mm-hmm. It's a way to really manipulate the situation. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think is happening here.
I see where you're going with that. I have another way of looking at that too, but we'll move on.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Fair enough.
No, look. The question is, do the American people, because this is what this is all about, do the American people have a right to know if Russia was using Americans wittingly or unwittingly to interfere in the presidential election? And what part does Congress play in trying to get as many answers as possible?
I think they absolutely have a right. I want them to have a right. That's why I want the Democrat memo to come out. And I think Congress's role in this thing is what they've been doing. They've been adducing information and evidence, but we can't do more than lay it out for the American people. And the Intelligence Committee has got to scrub it a little bit, and they work with the executive branch to do that. And there's going to be disagreements, but I don't think anybody's going to say that the Republican memo had any confidential information that should have stayed out after looking at it.
But in terms of getting to the bottom of the matter, I mean, you know, does it help? There's a lot of political back and forth and finger pointing on both sides, you know, and it just sort of confuses the American people and I guess perhaps brings about distrust when looking at Congress.
No, you're right. I mean, look, it's a political place. I'm not going to lie to you about that. And people point back and forth, and I think that's what's happened with the Schiff memo. Just remember, what I tell people all the time, look at the source you trust and follow what they're saying. And what I'm telling you is Mr. Schiff and the Democrats were saying initially, don't let the Republican memo out because there's nothing to it, it's lies, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, the FBI said that it was also had some inaccuracies in it as well, the GOP memo.
Right, but they haven't substantiated any of those.
Who hasn't?
The FBI or the Democrats?
Well, listen, the time on the clock here has turned red, which means we have to stop. But I have a suggestion for you, Congressman Biggs. Listen, here's the deal. You get some frozen prickly pear margaritas, freeze it, ship it to D.C., everybody gets around, and y'all work it out, okay?
It's cold enough to keep it cold, that's for sure.
There you go. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thanks, Arthel.
Take care.